From dating to relationships, from sex to love, from Christianity to politics, from darkness to light, you have now entered into the real zone. Welcome to Conversations with Trent, where no topic of conversation is safe from discussion. Now, here he is, Mr. Epic himself, Trent Williams.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another podcast with Conversation with Trent and Friends, featuring the lovely Coach Dee. We got a hot one here tonight. I'm actually getting this and receiving this as you guys are receiving this. So I was minding my own business early last week. Right at the podcast we did last week, maybe in the middle of the week. I received a call from Coach Dee on a messy Sunday topic, right? So I'm minding my own business, what have you, whatever. So she comes up with this topic. And all I could do is chuckle and say, see you next week. So the topic tonight is, how are you leaders? And what she went on to say, how can men be leaders when women have to protect their egos? So I'm actually receiving this as you guys are receiving it tonight because I had no words for her. Let's bring her and see what she's talking about. Hey.
Hey there, how are you?
Okay, would you like to put out this disclaimer now that all hate mail goes directly to Coach Dee at
I would be happy to receive their hate mail.
So I was minding my business. First of all, before we get into this topic, how are you today? How's the little man?
Oh, he's good. He's downstairs being himself.
Good stuff.
Puberty's getting to him. He got in trouble at school. Got a note home, an email home.
Give him a break.
He gets a break because he's an excellent student and he participates in class. So the teachers let him get away with more than they ever should. Gotcha. So because he's a good kid, right?
Gotcha. So before we dive into this topic, let's say hi to the folks, and then I want to know exactly what's on your mind with this because I was talking to a couple of my friends after I received that call from you, and to be honest with you, when you called me up and you said it, all I did was create it. I was so discombobulated with it, I forgot to send you a link.
Mm-hmm.
Folks, she literally just received the link seconds before we're going live.
Yeah, I had to call you for it.
Exactly. So, and she never has to call me for the link, but the topic was, I was like, wow, okay. So guys, before you start throwing your darts, I did bring my bulletproof vest here just to make sure, but don't shoot the messenger. I'm just a messenger. Let's say hi to the good folks over there on Instagram. What's going on, folks? How y'all doing tonight? One sec. Let's
we have Miss Martinez with us. She says, hi, the disclaimer. She said hi to everybody.
Hey, they're my favorite Detroiter. Hey, I see Detroit's up, man. 21-7. Go Lions. Good stuff. So let's dig into this time. Let me jump over to Instagram, see what they're talking about. Wait.
Yep, I said when women have to protect their egos. That is indeed what I said. So let me tell you where this came from. So I was watching TikTok because I was organizing my closet and doing a whole bunch of donations and took a break. And I asked this lady, what gives her the room to talk about men? And she goes, the oppressor always knows more. The oppressed always knows more about the oppressor than the oppressor does about the oppressed. And I was like,
wow.
Ooh, she said a whole mouthful there, which is true. In the Black community, we know more about whiteness than white people do about it, right? Because we've been oppressed by it. And women have been oppressed by men for generations. So we know more about men than men know about women.
Okay, so let's circle back on how did you get to this, come to this conclusion about, you got to protect the egos.
Every woman knows that. That's general knowledge.
We're going to agree to disagree on some men, I
said every woman knows that. You're a man. You wouldn't know what women know.
I get
You're the oppressor, not the oppressed.
I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing, though. In my opinion, your ego won't need protection if you're comfortable in your own sin. Again, your ego will not need protected if you're comfortable in your own skin. My personal opinion.
Sir, you strap on shoes every other week.
Stop.
What are you talking about?
Stop. So do tell. I'm gonna let you. The floor is yours. So I want to see how you get out of this one.
So there's no getting out of it. Every woman knows that we protect egos. For instance, if a man cheats on a woman, he's fine with it, right? If she cheats back, he will lose his ever-loving mind. And if a man asks a woman, "Am I the best you've ever had?" we will automatically say, "Of course, dear," knowing darn well 99% of the time we're lying.
Okay, but you're placing men in a box, D. You place them in a box because, first of all, I will agree on some of that. I will agree on some of that, right? But you run into a different animal when you get a guy coming in there. A guy like me, like my past, I will not ask those type of questions because I don't want to know the answer.
Your ego has been protected more times than you realize. Okay.
Stop. Now you put my business out there in the street. Now knock it off.
So Martine says, "I'm not into sports and don't have local channels. Don't even know where to watch the game other than going to a bar. / has Grand Rise mailing people greeting posters, Princess Coach Dee and Master Epic." Martine said, "I understand what this means. I think does it mean that we have to pussyfoot with men? Yeah, we have to walk around eggshells to ensure that their ego doesn't get hurt. Because listen very carefully. Because when some men's egos get hurt, they get violent. This is why you'll see women who have issues out in public. If somebody asks them out or harasses them, and they have to come up with a way to say no without saying no, so that they don't get violent."
I get your point. Again, but I stand 10 toes down and say some men, the average man, will get upset if he asks the question of, "Hey, who's better, me or him?" That's an average man asking a question like that. When you find a bona fide rehabilitated player, it'll never happen.
So it doesn't mean we women have to pussyfoot with men, like not telling him his breath is tart and they need to go to a dentist. Yeah. Women walk around on eggshells and men all the time. We figure out ways to have you do things that need to be done. Because if you have a priority list that doesn't involve them, you won't do them.
Again, I'm agreeing with you, but we're talking about an average man.
Okay, so stop strapping on shoes and remember that everything is general. Because you're about to get your ego brushed, because this is what I'm talking about. You're not even listening to what I'm saying. You're constantly going,
"I'm listening to you."
Average man. No, you're not. You're not listening to what I said.
Continue. Go ahead.
Right? So here's the thing. And this is what men do to women all the time. They overtalk us. They ignore us. They will make our ideas their own, even though we have said that. Like, if you go into a meeting, a woman will give you a complete idea. Then it will be dismissed and disregarded. Then a man will turn around and go, "Oh, that," and say the exact same thing. He'll be told that's a fabulous idea. Then they'll look at her and ask her why she didn't think of something like that when she was the originator of the idea to begin with. But she can't say anything now, because if she does say anything, it's going to blow their ego, and then she becomes the aggressive one. She becomes the bitch. She becomes the bitter, angry woman. Right? Every woman in her life has come across this problem. You can talk about the average man all you want, but this is general experience as a woman. As you are not a woman, you cannot talk about what women experience.
I can't speak on a woman. Yeah. I can't speak on a woman.
Look, even Martine says, right, that I've had a guy mantra on me recently. Like, we have words for a man tantrum, because it happens so often. Right. Like, I gave somebody asked me for cash for a coffee once. I said, "Sure, no problem. Here you go." Then he came back asking for more. I said, "Well, I don't have any more. Sorry, I don't usually carry cash." He goes, "Well, you're ugly." Anyway, I'm like, "Sir, I don't even care. You want the coffee or not? Give me back my money." Right. Like, men are so aggressive towards women, and we're supposed to take it, and pussyfoot around so they don't get hurt, so they don't react.
So let's dive into some shared responsibility, right? So if you pussyfooting around this sensitive guy, is that there's some shared responsibility going on, right? So why are you even operating like that with him? If you're with it, let's just say, let me give you an example. Let's just say you guys have been together for years and you've been pussyfooting around for years.
I'm not even talking about people in relationships. I'm talking about general people on the street you do not know.
Okay,
that is how men treat women.
Fair enough.
Right? So it's shared responsibility for what, sir? For somebody I don't know. Think about that.
Fair enough.
Right? Right now, you're trying to make me pussyfoot around somebody, like pretend that I'm supposed to have a relationship with this person I do not know and that I'm supposed to give them grace or something.
When you call me about the topic, you didn't say what you were pinpointing to.
Because I knew what you were going to do.
Stop talking like you know me. Now stop it.
Yeah. And Martine says, when we speak up, we're told we're angry and masculine, and we're supposed to tee and deal with it.
Now that I say I've been pushed into this corner, I get your point now.
Oh, you haven't been pushed in the corner, so you put yourself in the corner.
No, when you call me, you didn't say where you were going with it.
That's because you never do it to me. So shoes on the other foot. Congratulations.
You got me. Slash says,
a man wouldn't know what a woman knows. So listen to what I said earlier. You missed it. I said, the oppressed always knows the oppressor better than themselves.
In Slash defense, he didn't come in until after he checked in on Instagram.
That's why I said, he missed it. So that's what I'm saying. That's like we as Black people know more about whiteness than white people do because we're oppressed by it constantly.
My favorite Detroit says.
Right, Trent. It's with guys everywhere at work. Oh, yeah.
I get that. And I'll agree with that because I've witnessed some of that. I've had to actually at some point intervene before this took place with me. But yeah.
And then we're told, oh, men are losers because we're logical and we think without emotion. I'm like, have y'all looked around the world lately and seen all the emotion with all the wars the men are starting? Like, where is the emotionless there?
But in my opinion, I've seen this with these newfound guys that I'm always talking about.
Yeah.
And I don't run those type of circles, so I can't speak on them. But I've seen that with these newfound guys, these new men.
Old guys are like that. Young guys are like that.
Right.
It's not a generational thing at all.
Okay.
I wish it was. Older men, Gen X and Boomers are the worst of them.
Wait, what?
Gen X and Boomers are the worst.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You want to laugh. I saw, where the heck is it? Let me find it. Let me pull it up 1 second here. So there's one of the groups I'm in. It's just the sisters, and most of the time we share like things that are going on in the world to be more aware. We have like jokes and everything. And she shared this guy. He's where is he? I'm just trying to remember which one it was. He's 70, right? Remember that.
Okay.
And he goes, time to settle down, looking for a good one. At 70.
At 70 years old.
At 70 years old. So I said, wonder what he was just diagnosed with. And all the other ladies are like, yeah, because
it's not nice.
It's not nice, but it's true. Because at 70, you're looking for a hospice wife. What happened at 50? Why weren't you settled at 50?
He's looking for a nurse. He's looking for a nurse. Yeah.
He's looking for somebody to take care of him when he's old and dead.
Wow.
Right? And it's crazy. Here we go. And you have Martine says, and you have many guys who claim that they don't feel anything and say dumb stuff like catching feelings. Then when it's old out, are looking around for a woman to chill with. I was listening on both IG and here. Oppressed and oppressor, in what realm? Pussyfooting, ego, and man tantrums. What's the topic again? See, so let's talk about how some people make very condescending comments and pretend that they don't know what was going on.
This is your floor. Go ahead.
Yeah, to instigate a reaction. We're talking about the whole patriarchy and men are leaders, but women know that we have to walk around men's egos on a regular basis.
Right.
So how does that make a man a leader if he needs to be, you have to walk on glass around them so you don't break their ego. You have to stroke their ego instead, right?
I get that, but again, let's put this in relationship type form, right? I know you generalize and we're talking about people that you don't know. Let's talk about the women who do that with guys and they've been in a relationship for years and they've been walking around this guy's feelings for years. Yeah. How authentic is that? And
it's not authentic. And you know what you're told if you as a woman, if you tell him about himself?
Go ahead, I'm listening.
So when women step up and they start to tell their spouse about the stuff, then they're told that they're angry, that they're bitter, that they're not a traditional woman, that they don't know how to treat a man. All this BS because he won't pick up clothes off the floor and put it in the laundry basket like a decent human being. Right? It's a no-win situation.
Yeah. That's something right? I can't relate to.
You don't have to relate to everything that we're talking about.
Yeah, though. I get it. I get what you're saying, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. Because I've seen this in several cases. But I've seen this in cases where this woman has been with this guy for years. She's put up with this bullshit for years, and
then people,
you know what I'm saying? So at what point do she become part of the problem? Because she's enabling this guy.
Society makes it her problem, no matter what she does.
So we're just gonna push the boat down the road. We're gonna push the boat.
Well, wait for it. If she leaves him, she has broken up the family. Because then she couldn't put up with what he was putting up. She should have learned to deal with it. And then you'll have men who'll say, "Oh, we want marriages like our grandmothers." Y'all forget grandmas used to play grit ball, and they used to have multiple husbands die.
And again, I can't speak on your experience or any other woman's experience. So that's you guys' experience. But I have seen that in several cases.
Yeah, it happens on a regular basis. And then what's going to happen is, then they're told, well, you can't shine too much. He has to be in the spotlight. He's the man. He's the leader. He's the man of the house. But
okay, so let me ask you this, right? Let me ask this now. You know, again, let's talk about the shared responsibility. So when a woman marries that type of man, has she really done the work in getting to know this guy? I would say yes, because she saw the insecurity flag way before she said I do. She saw the insecurity flag way before. I've seen guys like that before. I've seen them like that. For me, I'll give you an example, gentlemen. For me, I'll date a woman 6'5", walk into a place not worried about that she have on heels. 6'5", tell her put on 3-inch heels, cool, whatever. Because the first thing they're gonna say is, "Who is that guy with that woman?" But for an insecure man, "Oh baby, you got to take those heels off. You're too taller than me." I get it. Martine says,
this guy used to see would always say, "Y'all women are some unstable creatures." Yeah, that's the common thing. We're either angry and bitter, we're emotional, we don't know how to handle our emotions, we don't know how to handle pressure.
Martine, was that after the rejection? After you gave him rejection? Does he say that? Slash coming in hot.
I don't believe in every comment or post. I don't believe in narratives and tactics of divide and conquer. Sir, it's not about dividing. What's divide and conquer?
Where has it
relationship? What's that?
I know where he's going with that, but go ahead.
Where's he going with it then? And translate, because
as far as divide and conquer, he's talking about. You have to remember, we're on Instagram. We just got these 23,000 people back, so we're not trying to lose them in the same one, the same night. But He's talking about divide and conquer between a black man and a black woman, and creating narratives and going with the story and whatnot.
I didn't talk about race at all.
No, he's not. He's not talking about you.
Yeah, but I didn't mention race at all. I didn't talk about.
No, not at all.
No. This wasn't in relative to the black community at all. This was relative to men and women. Period.
Yeah. I got
you. Right? You think this doesn't happen in the white community? The exact same thing.
Way worse than the black community.
Way same.
Especially when Bubba done had about 12 packs of beer.
Listen, it's not a battle of the sexes, or you know what? I'm not even going to talk about women with somebody who refuses to go to 3 different places to pick somebody up for a date because that's too much. So whatever.
It's your floor. Go ahead, finish what you're talking.
Here's the thing. It's always, whenever women bring up these complaints, we're always dismissed. We're always told, no, that's not what's going on. This is going on. That's not what's going on. This is going on. Even slasher students, it's the battle of sexes, it's divide and conquer. No, women are tell you what exactly is going on, and you're like, no, that's not what's happening.
Right.
Or, this is what's going on. This is why it's hard for women to get proper health care, because we go to the doctor and was dismissed.
Right. I get that.
The same dude has been married and divorced multiple times and recently attempted to marry another woman. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, that's the guy that she was just talking about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Because too often it's society has set up this failing system because it doesn't work.
Right.
And men don't like, here's the problem now is women are switching up the rules, right? Men made the rules. The rules don't work for them now, and now they're upset. Right?
Right.
And so what happens is we end up having to fight because you have to raise your voice if somebody's not listening, because riot is the voice of the unheard. Right? That's what happens. So you end up getting women protesting, women shutting it down, people, I'm not doing this anymore, and walking away because they're not being heard, they're not being listened to. Right? Martine says, anytime I attempt to have an adult conversation with him, of course, once I discovered he'd hopped around and was a habitual marrying type, I had to bounce. Yeah, I've talked about that before, but that people will change partners so they don't change themselves.
Right.
That's a huge red flag for insecurity. But when it comes to...
Again, I can't disagree with you on your points. I can't disagree because I see it. I've seen it in several cases where men get upset when they're rejected. Men get upset when you can't get a phone number. You see it all over social media now.
Yeah.
Women getting attacked and all this. So I can't disagree with you. There's nothing to debate on with that.
Yeah. Remember, there's a video that goes around. This guy says, my daddy said that if a woman, I forget his exact words. I'll have to look it up in a minute. My daddy said the woman's not married by 35. She's no good or something like that. And then a woman comes up, goes, tell your daddy if a woman is not married by 35, she's educated. Tell her she's making moves so that her children don't have to stand in line at the bus and all this stuff, right? And I'm like, it's why it is. Yeah, so that's why it is the way it is. So a lot of people talk about how women are without listening to what women are saying.
Right.
Governments do it all the time. Look at all the congressional meetings they had on women's rights, and it was a room full of men. Like, how can you have a meeting about women and birth control if you don't have any women in the room?
Yeah, that's a bit much right there. That's a bit much.
Like, I've been on TikTok and men have said that women can stop their periods. They can just hold it in. Have no idea what a pap smear is for. Right? If you were at the right age of 40,
in my opinion, when it comes down to laws on women's body and women's body and all that stuff, a man can't make that decision for a woman because he don't know how that feels. He don't know what her body goes through, anything like that. So I'm totally against that. Completely against that. But that's the problem.
They think they can because they're the leaders. Because society has told them they make all the decisions.
Yeah.
This is why women are so upset now, right? Everybody thinks,
as far as that, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, and there's so much going on that it's just ridiculous when you look as a woman and you look at our young daughters that are going to be raised up in the society, and you're thinking, this has got to change, and the only way to change it is to fight back, right? And have difficult conversations, and sometimes you have to yell because people aren't listening.
So let me ask you something, and I'm going to bring the race card in here real quick.
Okay.
Probably piss off a couple of people here, but how much of do you see black men mirroring white men like that? Because when we talk about leading and talk about the treatment of women and whatnot, started off with the oppressor. So how much would you say black men are mirroring what they've seen?
Some do, because it's easier to be closer to the oppressor than be oppressed.
One more time for the people in the back who did not get what you just said.
It's easier to be closer to the oppressor than to be oppressed.
Dee, my friend, that was very deep.
And people don't understand that, and you'll see it in all communities of color, right? Look at what happened within the Asian community. They fought against affirmative action. Now they're not getting chosen for colleges.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, because they didn't want you in there either.
Exactly.
Right? The greatest beneficiary of affirmative action wasn't people of color; it was white women.
Now we're getting to the meat and potatoes.
Well.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, now we're getting to the meat and potatoes. So I will agree that as far as African-American men, they're only mirroring what they've seen, what they witnessed, and they push that on women, which is not fair.
Yeah.
Now we're getting to the meat and potatoes.
Yeah, because here's the thing. The oppressed always know who's oppressing them.
Exactly.
The oppressor will always deny being the oppressor. You can look across history. You can look across today that this is the way it is. Right. You don't have to be a history major or a women's study major to know that.
Let's catch a few of these comments real quick here.
Where's that? Let me go back up. Martine says, let me see where I left off. Martine says, I don't want to, nor Dami deserve to be in anything with a guy who'll have me uneasy in his presence. Slash as angry black woman who's believing in that false narrative, bruised egos, and the best you've ever had. Pillow talk, how are you leaders? Sir, what is black women are literally losing their goddamn jobs for speaking up. Like you say, a false narrative. Talk to black women, sir. It's not false. We're called it all the time. I get called it in emails on a regular basis.
Well, I give an example of what you're talking about. I give an example of that. Just recently, as you guys know, I lost my niece after giving birth to a daughter. Hospital over in Houston, Texas. And I called Coach Dee when it happened. I'm like, hey, remember that show we talked about black women in healthcare and how young women are not safe, in those environments. Yeah, exactly. All the medical experience. So as I have a whole bunch of female friends around the country and abroad. So I started calling them out and asking them their experience with healthcare, even in Canada, even over in France. I'm talking about friends of mine and the United States. All of them shared the same similar experiences. I was blown away by that. After getting all that information from Coach Dee, I'm like, damn, they're really behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So some of that is not a narrative, a false narrative, because it's really happening.
Yeah. And if you complain, then you're a troublemaker.
Don't even look like us. But go ahead.
Yeah, if you're complaining, you're a troublemaker. We'll see it in the workforce all the time. Like, look at our hair. Like, I have long ringlets. I have hair you see like the average white person has. And I'm told my hair is unprofessional if I have it up in if I have it in big fluffy curls.
What makes that
how it comes out of
unprofessional?
my head.
Exactly. What makes that unprofessional? Because they set the rules.
Yeah. They said, like, I was in a job once and they told me I would look cuter if I straightened my hair. I said, I don't want to look with straightened hair. My hair is fine the way it is. Why? Because it would look more white.
Right.
Right? Like, I straighten my hair maybe twice a year to do a trim the ends, and that's about it. And you know, it's trying to be white adjacent is not my ministry. That's the one I want to do. Plenty of people will try it and like, well, and then say, well, I don't identify as black. I'm like,
exactly.
I don't know if you looked in the mirror lately, honey, but you know what I mean? So
Martine's really engaged in it. Let's catch up on it real quick.
Let me see. Slash says, oh, 1 second.
Is this the one?
Name calling isn't passing or rewriting laws. Aren't there women lawmakers and legislatures also? How many? Are we going to talk the numbers about how many there are in legislature?
It's not. It's some, but the more dominant as far as lawmakers and passing bills in Congress and Senate, they're predominantly white men.
Yeah, they don't look like us
at all.
And look at all the name calling of Kamala Harris when she became vice president.
Yeah.
Let's
be clear. Let's be clear on this, ladies and gentlemen. We talking about, you know, the people who actually in Congress creating these laws and all this stuff. Even a gentleman that lobby on Congress don't look like us.
And here's the thing: people, everybody talks about men as leaders, and it's a patriarchy that the system runs the way it does, and it doesn't protect us. It only protects the ones at the top.
Absolutely.
And so you end up, like, even now they've just got rid of the requirements for a GED for the Navy. You know why they did that? It's because we're going to go to war.
Boom.
And need more cannon fodder. And it's not the rich kids going; it's the poor kids.
Exactly.
Those are the guys. You won't see them they're building a new high school just down the road where Xavier will be going. There won't be recruiters at that high school, but there will be recruiters at the high school the other direction, because that's where all the lower income kids go.
Exactly.
Right? And that's the way America works. They pick the poor against each other. And I was talking with a gentleman today. I'm like, sir, they got 9 out of 10 slices of pie, and they got you fighting people coming across the border for that one piece, telling them they're the reason you don't have any pie. So they're the reason you don't have any pie. Yeah.
Which is not the case. Yeah.
So when people say men are leaders, I see a lot of BS, right? Because who are our teachers growing up?
Women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If men are leaders, why aren't men teaching? Because that's where society is grazed. That's where all the information is given. Even now, if you go to the subway or you go to the airport, all the instructions are given by women, because that's who people listen to when they want information. But at the same time, if you stand in a boardroom of any type or in Congress, you'll be ignored.
Right.
Or you'll be told you don't know what you're talking about. Right?
Well, again, let me apologize to you, because I had no idea where you were going with this topic when you called me. I just kind of chuckled and went about my day. So, but this is a great one. This is a good one, and it's a much needed topic.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna get tons of hate mail because I tell me I don't know what men think like. I'm like, please, I'm a woman who's been around this planet for 52 years.
Right.
I guarantee you, I know better. Just like we know how white people think, because it's our survival. We have to know in order to survive. Let me get to the comments because they're piling up. Martine says, and when you have these people claiming they're smarter, more together, men come from two-parent homes, I totally disagree. Lots of guys I know do come from two-parent homes and are all hooked up. Slash says there's no such thing as fair and equal. Yeah, okay, whatever, sir. Martine says, I don't know why my keyboard is so sensitive tonight. Read past my typos.
It's all good.
Yeah. And Martine says, yes, that's why I choose melanated doctors. My former employer tried to put me out of service because of my afro. They keep telling me I need to straighten my hair. Yeah.
Wow. It's very important for sisters to know, and I'll stand on this for a second, hot second, like the continue with the topic here. But it's very important for African American women and African American men to choose a doctor who look like them or something close to them.
Yeah.
Ask all the questions you need to ask and, whatnot, because these people out here telling you anything. Because if I don't listen to some of those doctors that I had initially, when this situation took place with me, I'd be dead by now.
Yeah. And it's important because different things look different on our skin.
Exactly.
Eczema looks different on us. Rashes look different. So they have to pull up. And
for the record, I have a black neurologist. I have a black workout partner. And so forth. Down the line. Black. All black, everything.
Yeah, Xavier's physician is a black woman from Africa. Love her to death.
Exactly.
Absolutely love it.
Exactly. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Slash says, tonight's topic is about white leadership. No, it's not. It's about men. It's about men's leadership. And women's knowledge of oppression by men.
Right. And I want to touch on, I'm glad that Slash brought that up, because I really want to touch on the question I asked you earlier.
What's that?
How much of that do you think is influenced, that the black men are very much influenced by this, and how they mirror the oppressor?
You have to mirror the oppressor in order to survive.
It's deep.
Look at how we look at the generational trauma that came out of how we raised our children out of slavery.
Right.
The whole look at me when I speak to you. Because if you didn't look if you didn't look in the direction where the white person was asking you to, you would get beaten, right?
Right.
Look at people who still move out of the way on sidewalks when a white person comes down. If you don't, they'll walk.
To be very clear, as we always do here on the conversation, black men, we got to place some of that at your doorstep. We got to place some of that at your doorstep. Was when Dee initially called me with this, I didn't know she was going this way, but sorry guys, I agree with it.
What are you being sorry for? Sometimes people need to hear about themselves.
Right.
It's not all the guys out there. Most of the guys out there who it doesn't involve aren't worried about it.
Yeah, and I always call those guys average guys.
Yeah.
So those are the average guys I'm talking to. When I get it.
Yeah. Martine says, yesterday this guy said it's difficult to meet a man. If it's difficult to meet a man, the one we happen to meet and likes already in something, go on and get with him. He said, because there's no man who can be with just one woman. Yeah, right. They'll say that we're lying about our level of pain. Yeah. It's when you sit down and think about it and how women have to change up how they're doing when we're dealing with men. And people are like, well, why is that? I'm like, because women are the oppressed ones, right? And that's why they have to do it. You do the same.
I'm so glad that you're reiterating this. I'm so glad that you're reiterating this. I'm so glad that you're actually repetitive on that oppressing thing, because I mean, it's real. It's definitely real. And honestly, to be honest with you, I truly believe that these average men don't even know they're mirroring that. They don't know it. They have no idea.
They don't, because that's what society has taught them. Exactly.
For one, in order for you to see what you're doing wrong, you have to reach the higher level of yourself.
Yeah.
And for an average man, it's a hard road to travel.
Well, look at if you go on TikTok and if a guy is talking about being kind to women, men will call him a simp. Like,
exactly.
To be kind to somebody, just being a decent human being. Like, remember the other day I said the bar is so low, people are digging under it?
Yeah. Hey, did you see that? Did you see that tape I cut on that? I couldn't
believe
I didn't.
That. Yeah. I got some hate mail, so I just read it and laugh. Because
what's the truth though? It is the truth that they're digging under. They're digging under the bar. It's the truth. The truth is the truth.
Like some of the things like are just bare minimum. Like there's a joke going around that if you're going on a date, tell her to guess where she's going, and that's where you take her.
Right.
Instead of planning stuff out, because obviously planning something out would be too difficult, right? Like bare minimum. Right?
I get it. Hey, what's going on, Fat Cat Entertainment? Hey, Line, how you doing out of St. Louis?
Yeah. Martine says, only goofy dudes refer to women as masculine and aggressive because she has a voice. Shaking my head. Slash says, often it's a survival tactic. Leadership comes in many forms: church leadership, different organizations, frats, sororities, and social pleasure clubs, neighborhood organizations, and associations.
One more time. I didn't catch that.
Said often it was a survival tactic. Leadership comes in many forms: church leadership, don't even get me started, different organizations, frats, sororities, social and pleasure clubs, neighborhood organizations, and associations. Sir, most of those have a lot of oppression involved within them.
Again, I have to agree.
You know?
I have to agree. I have to agree.
Church leadership, they're the most of the most oppressive group there is.
Yeah.
You know?
I get
Talking
it.
about the deacons and I'm not even talking about the messy stuff going on in church. I'm just talking about stupid stuff that people do. Like people will take somebody whose husband's had an affair and then put the wife up on the altar and blame her.
So let's hover around. Let's hover around the black man mirroring the oppressor. That's why he's treated, the average black man is mirroring the oppressor, and that's why he's treating her like that way. That's why he's treating. Let's hover around that for a second.
There's a lot of history behind there, though. Like there's a lot of history going back to slave days, going back to field hands versus house hands, breaking in bucks and splitting up families. There's so much behind there. And here's the thing: you have great black leaders, and then you have ones who are in leadership roles who we should question.
Exactly.
Right. And the problem is when we as a society, in the black community, when somebody gets a leadership role, if somebody doesn't respect them or somebody questions them, then people go, well, you have to respect your elders and you're not allowed to question people. And then when people find out things, then it's like, oh, well, that's it. Like, look at Bill Cosby. The man admitted in a deposition to drugging and raping women. And people are like, oh, that's just a big man trying to get him down. I'm like, no, he's a rapist. Stop defending rapists.
Right? Slash coming in hot. I'm interested in what he's saying in one sec.
Yeah, folks, sign up for any and all mentioned above, and the folks are both men and women. Let's really truthfully keep it at 100. Are you even on talking about the same topic I am, sir? Like we can talk about leadership roles within the D9. I don't have any problems with the D9, the fraternities and sororities. They have some hazing issues they need to sort out, right? But I'm talking about people who are in leadership roles who should not be in leadership roles and expect others to bow down to them solely because they're in leadership roles.
Right.
Right.
I'm specifically talking to the black man. I want to know if you are like that, if you feel that way, that about a black woman or whatnot. Have you even given thought about who you're mirroring?
Well, here's the thing: society has made us hating ourselves very profitable for themselves, right? So there's a lot of self-hate that goes along with choosing how we treat black women. Right? Black women were one of the most unprotected women, right?
I'm gonna have to agree with you on that, and we're gonna have to dig a little deeper. I think I'm gonna do a part 2 to this because I had no idea where you were going with this.
Yeah.
And it's quite interesting, and I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So the question is, again, brothers, who are you mirroring when you actually putting that woman in her place and saying all these,
Nonsense.
Nonsense to her and what have you? Who you mirroring?
There's a lot of people who say things who are just, there's so many talking heads that sometimes you shouldn't listen to some people.
Right.
And there's like, you go on TikTok and look at some of the lives, and some people should not have a microphone because they're dangerous.
I agree.
Right? Because some people, 86% of the world does not do any research. And if you're listening to somebody and believing everything they're saying, that's a dangerous position, right?
So now the topic actually makes sense to me now. How are you leaders? And to be honest with you, when Dee called me with this, that wasn't her topic. The title, I just wrote it out like that and just kept pushing throughout my day. So my question is, how are you guys leaders when you're being led by someone who you mirror?
Yeah. And then
that's a great question for the brothers. It's a real good question for the brothers.
And then we'll be careful because we have people who are in leadership roles who have a lot of self-hatred, who instead of fighting for communities of color will fight against them purposely because of their self-hate.
Tim Scott.
Right? Listen, Tim Scott was on interview. So here, I'm local to DC, so I hear a lot of the local news. Tim Scott complained about being racial profiles going into Congress, yet there's no racism in America.
Let's be clear. Now, I want to stand 10 toes down on this because I brought his name up for a reason. I was completely embarrassed, first of all, when I saw the clip with the orange guy talking about hating Nikki Haley and all this other foolishness, and the way he stretched it and fetched it toward the mic. He set us back 500 years. And as a black man, I was appalled.
Yeah. We all shucking and jiving.
Exactly.
Shucking and jiving for massa.
And for the folks who, let's just say it, for the GOPs, for the Republicans, right? If you guys think that if this guy gonna get vice presidency and black people gonna go out in droves for him, think again. It's not gonna happen.
Well, that's the problem. They don't know.
Y'all don't know us like y'all think y'all know us.
Listen, I was at a rally once, and I was walking by. It was like a bunch of different political groups because I'm an independent. And I was walking by, and they had like the black Republicans, and there was no black Republicans there. And I'm like,
exactly.
And this lady comes up to me, and then I ask questions, but they never give you answers for questions that are intelligent.
Exactly.
Because it doesn't have a talking point.
So, yeah, that's my hot topic. Let's before I get kicked off here, let's talk. Let's see what Martine's talking about.
Martine says, "Oh, what's he talking about? Not too many guys will openly admit that he knows he needs help and that he treats women poorly. They feel that they're doing us women a favor by dating us." Oh, there you said a whole pile there, Martine. Yep, that's true. Because, and that goes back to our conversation we had a few weeks ago about men think they're the prize.
Right.
Right.
Let's get to Slash real quick. I think he's commenting on what I said.
Embarrassed, taking the entire black race back. I vehemently disagree. The black race is not a monolith. Who said anything about taking the? Oh, Tim Scott.
That's what I said. Okay. That's what I said.
No, the black race is not a monolith, and plenty of us will vote against their own best interest.
There it is.
53% of white women voted for Trump, and Trump wants to take their rights away.
Boom.
Yeah. Here's the thing. In order to get ahead, you have to emulate your oppressor. There's no way around it. You have to. That's why my customer service voice doesn't sound like my regular voice. Right? Because I have to whiten it up. That's why I use Dee.
So Slash, clarify this for me, Slash. So are you disagreeing with what I said about Tim Scott? Clarify that for me, brother.
Martine says lots of guys, no matter who they are, feel that they are the head when they can barely take care of themselves. Yeah.
Mm.
How many times we make jokes about the broke boyfriend lean when the woman's at the cash register paying for everything. The broke boyfriend's got his hands around her because he got no money. We've had entire conversations about this. But here's the thing. Leadership now is so important. And who you choose as a leader is important.
Right.
Right? The world is falling apart. Right? There's genocides happening in multiple countries right now. And
okay, he's responding back to me.
Yeah, that's the leadership they choose. They voted for race and class, not for the betterment of the country. No, because here's the thing. They'll vote for race and class because the society, American society, tells us that they are the reason you are poor. It goes back to the Southern strategy.
Right.
Who was it that said that as long as they can convince the poor white man that the black man is his problem, they will always vote for them? Somewhere along that lines.
Yeah.
This is
One
how
more
it's
time.
done.
Repeat that again.
As long as they convince the poor white man that the black man is against it is the problem, they'll vote for him all the time.
That's that was old boy that came after Kennedy.
Yeah. So here's the thing.
What's his name? His name escapes me. What's his name?
The
one that came actually he was in Kennedy's administration.
Johnson.
That's Lyndon B. Johnson. That's who actually said that.
So here's the thing. I got some of the other day. We were talking about the right to return for Israel and Palestine, right?
Right.
And then they started going on illegal immigrants. I'm like, well, I thought you were all for the right to return. Like, what do you mean? I said, well, if Mexicans are going back to Texas, then that it was their land prior to Texas being there. So you should be good with that.
Exactly.
They're like, well, no, I'm not.
They change the rules when it's not in their favor.
I said, oh, so it's when your land people want back, you're not in favor of it. But when it's somebody else's land, you're all for it.
Right. So let's get back to the topic here. I'm gonna keep on asking this question until we're done tonight.
Right.
How are you leaders, brothers, when you're mirroring what you're seeing? By treating these women the way you treat them, talking to them the way you talk to them, and talking down to them, and not letting them have their share. Are you mirroring the other side, brothers?
Oh,
that's a question for you guys, because I want to come back and do this topic again. Again, I had no idea that Coach Dee was actually going to go that way with the topic because we didn't talk about it. Oh, she said, hey, I got a topic for Messy Sunday. I didn't know it was this messy, but I'm interested in it. I'm interested in it, and I'm interested in getting dirty with it.
Listen, Sunday's all about mess. But here's the thing.
Slash here again.
Yeah, he's talking about Tim Scott, the guy from South Carolina, which was the capital of the South, anointed, appointed, and propped up, just like he was on stage with Agent Orange. Listen, I don't think anybody realizes that he's not going to pick Tim Scott.
Nah.
That ain't happening. I'm trying to remember. Tim Scott's girlfriend is related to somebody in politics.
You talking about the girl he just got engaged with?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't believe in that long. If he's really gonna marry that, Kobe gonna get up and talk. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that relationship at all.
No, he'll marry her. I'll have to look up who she's related to. Because she's related to somebody in politics. I forgot who.
Slash says,
our great elder Alhaj Malik El Shabazz asked, who taught you to do and think like that? You finally on track now, son?
Be nice. Shout out to Malcolm X. I
am a big fan of Malcolm X. Anybody knows me. And
actually, to be honest with you, you and Slash have that in common because he's a huge fan of Malcolm X. Huge fan.
I don't know why he doesn't. Why you have some issue with it right now, but it's when we look at leadership is so important, and we need to look at our leadership. Our leadership needs to be empathetic. They need to be compassionate. They need to look out for everybody's interests, right?
I agree.
But too often we pick the loudest speaker in the room.
So we're coming up on 3 before the hour. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Dee just gave me a taste of my own medicine when she does these topics. Well, when I do the topics, I really don't say, and I just send it at the last minute. So she caught me slipping, and it was a good one. So it was good for the goose, it's good for the gander, I guess, as they say. But it's a good one, real good one. I really want to touch on this some more and elaborate on these brothers. That's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in knowing what they're thinking, and have they even thought about who they're mirroring when they treat women that way?
They don't care.
I'm going to gather some brothers up, and we're going to talk about it. See if I can get them to engage with us.
Definitely
next Sunday.
They will be.
This is a good one. This is real good.
I guarantee you, I'm going to get some hate mail from this.
Or more than sure.
I guarantee it. I'm trying to remember.
But brothers, if you're going to email and with the hate mail, keep it respectful, please.
Oh no, I tell them about themselves, so I don't have to worry about it.
Gotcha.
Let's get to forget that they should be careful to block their IP addresses, because I can track you down easily. Some of you are bright enough to use an anonymous email.
Right.
I got hate mail. The guy used his whole full name. I'm like, sir.
Slash coming in hot.
So you mean to tell me he went out and found his Disney princess just to play a part in political theater, once again trying to swindle us into the American KKK dream? Wake up like Doc screamed. Sir, if you didn't think he was going to do that, you haven't paid attention to that man at all.
No, he's agreeing with me. He's agreeing with it. He's agreeing. The way, I have to translate what when Slash types in. Yeah, he's agreeing with me.
I am trying to remember who she's related to. Oh, that's going to bother me. She's related to somebody else in politics.
Yeah. Say like Cat Williams said, she's a plant.
Cat Williams causing all kinds of trouble.
I love it though. I love it because he's speaking truth to power. Listen
here, people never like the truth tellers.
Exactly.
Never like the truth tellers. And then I had
Martine's going in here. Let's catch up on her real quick.
Martine says, some days I'm hopeful that I see what's happening, decide to go back into the wings. Yeah. It's sad because there are a lot of really great guys out there, but they get pushed off to the side because the numpties are the ones that people hear about all the time.
Right. Let's get to a teachable moment from Coach Dee here before we get off, let the Instagram folks go. Appreciate you guys for always tuning in and checking us out wherever you are in the world. Appreciate that. And as always, you can actually catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, a plethora of platforms, B2G Unity TV, all that good stuff. So, and on Apple Podcasts, you can actually go and subscribe over there, get all the exclusive stuff from us weekly. First 3 days are free. After that, $1.99. Go ahead.
Yeah, so here's the thing that choose your leaders based on who they are, not based on what's between their legs. A penis does not mean that you'll be a good leader.
Right? I get it. My teachable moment for tonight is, I'm asking this, I'm going to form this question again for next week. Brothers, have you given thought to who you're mirroring when you treat these black women, talk down to them, the way you're handling them, the disrespect? Have you given thought to who you're mirroring? That's going to be the question. That's going to be the question for next week. Have you given thought to who you're mirroring? You treat these women like you're treating them. Specifically, treating black women wrong. So we'll talk about it. We'll definitely talk about it. I'm very interested in that topic. So you want to close this out, Coach Dee? Because it's actually 1 after the hour.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I need to get Mr. Man sorted out because he won't leave his computer if I don't tell him to get a little behind in the shower. So,
give him a break. Give him a break.
He's a good kid, but he's a 10-year-old boy. Y'all are difficult. Anybody who said raising sons is easy is not doing it right.
And with that said,
here's the thing. When you're choosing people to emulate, make sure you're choosing them for the right reasons.
Boom.
Make sure that when you're mirroring people, you're mirroring them for the right reasons. And that compassion and empathy and being a decent human being are not that hard.
Exactly.
And the
so let
world
me tell you,
needs
so
a lot more
I'm so interested in this topic on next week. I really, really want to get into this topic. I really do, because the topic that you put on the table got me looking at brothers a little with the side eye of who they're mirroring, who they're actually.
Don't side eye them, because we'll talk about the trauma behind it next week.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So we appreciate you guys. Coach Dee and I appreciate you guys for always tuning in. As Coach Dee said, around the world, United States and abroad. We really appreciate that. Mm-hmm. From Canada to France, wherever, all over. Appreciate that. Really appreciate the support. Coach Dee.
Hug your loved ones tight. Say goodnight and love you and do all that. Choose peace. We'll see you all next week.
You guys be epic.
Conversations with Trent in conjunction with Taylor Kennedie Media and your radio network would like to thank you for calling in and listening to tonight's episode. We hope that tonight's conversation offended you just enough to turn your mirror inward to come back for more. So until next week's conversation, be epic.